How amazingly different distinctive was each of these presentations. I wish we planned it that way, but it just worked out so beautifully, and yet very complementary, and yet so distinctive. So thank you to each of you. Here's our timing. We are due to break for lunch, which we will, but I know that there must be a few people that want to say a few quick words before we break about questions. We ran over a little bit, but I want to take a few comments before we break. Yes, ma'am.
I really enjoyed all the speakers and what they had to say, and I thought it was remarkable that nobody, I don't think, said the word happiness, because it seems like thrift equals happiness on some level, and everyone was speaking to a certain extent to an, I would say, maybe anti-consumerist, not anti-capitalist necessarily, but this kind of anti-consumerist values that actually lead to greater happiness. And in the work that I do, I work for the Bicycle Coalition. There was a recent study done that showed that if you commute an hour to your job, that is to say, if you were switching from a no commute to an hour commute, you'd have to make 40% more salary in order to equal the level of happiness and satisfaction that you have with no commute. And you would lose 10% of your social connections for every 10 minutes that you commute. And I've never felt that to be so true as I do in Philadelphia, where I have more social connections than I've ever had living anywhere else. And I commute to work about 10 minutes. And I thought that the notion of thrift as it applies to how we live our lives, and it's a choice to be thrifty, a commitment, and it's a commitment that actually leads to happiness in really unexpected ways. So I wanted to thank you all for sort of speaking to that what do we value and how do we value our happiness more than anything, but it's not necessarily intuitive that thrifty behaviors is how we get there.
One of the things I appreciated about each of the presentations was the unashamed way that you address the ethical dimension in each of you about there's a reason it's called the thrift ethic. It is a value. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Yvonne Haskins, and I've really learned a lot here today, and I just have, you started us out talking about about the power of an idea. And following up on what Mark just said, I'd just like to throw out an idea. I enjoyed everybody, but I especially enjoyed the leadership and comments made by John and what the gentleman from Templeton Foundation talked about, and ending up with, of course, East Kensington. And I wonder if there's some way we could make that connection that will empower someone like a John Churchville to bring together everyone who has responsibility for handling prisoners, people on probation, people in juvenile detention. These handlers, these are prison guards, these are probation and parole officers. Every day, they are the people who are handling, so to speak, warehousing these people. And we're talking about a city that has 25% or more poverty. We've been now cast as the poorest city in the country. I'm not sure if I got that right, but I know we have a huge prison population and a huge population of people who are under these handlers. I would like to propose a program where a John Churchville has the opportunity to speak to the handlers. I think we've ignored the probation, parole officers, the prison guards, and how they understand thrift. I understood it in a deeper way today than I understood it before in my life. And I would love to see Templeton Foundation fund John Churchville to develop that program for the institutions that do that, the prison guards and the parole and probation officers. Thank you.
Thank you for that wonderful comment. There have been a number of wonderful ideas. The conversation will keep going, and out of this meeting, we'll have some opportunities for further development on a number of ideas that have come up today. The clock is something that we have to deal with here because it's time to eat. And so let's give another round of applause to these, well, I mean, really fabulous. I'm really grateful to each of you, really. Just excellent and moving. It's very rare that you get precision and passion together, and that's really rare. So thank you all.